Papercut Club on Oman FM.
Hello, Oman. I'm Fatma Mekki, and you're listening to The Papercut on Oman FM, where we discover the world and ourselves through the magic of the written word. I'm thrilled to be bringing you this show on Omani airwaves. I feel like I'm safe in saying this is probably the first of its kind on Oman FM. We have so much in store for all the book lovers out there, not just for this episode, but for the year ahead. So stick with us, and together we'll go places. Just to give you some background on the Papercut, we've gone on a pretty funny, intense journey. Just like a cat with many lives, I've gone through many reincarnations, which I'll talk about later on in the show. And but the main point here is to celebrate the Omani literary community and the book reading community. I'd like to introduce my special guests here, Ammar Al Naimi.
Hello.
Who is an author and a fellow nerd.
Absolutely.
Mehreen Shaikh.
Hi.
Videographer, book blogger, and also a nerd. And Rawiya Amri, who is a member of Oman FM.
Apparently.
And also a nerd, I hear.
Yes.
Fellow nerd.
The
nerd
power
community.
is palpable right now. So today, basically, what we're going to be doing is mostly sharing our upcoming reading resolutions for 2022.
Yeah.
Later on, I'll be calling up a special guest from the Oman Book Lovers Club and talking about her amazing platform on various social media accounts, as well as a special announcement or two for Papercut members.
I'm so looking forward to all of this. This is going to be a good show.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
So, okay, let's start with reading resolutions. So first of all, let's backtrack a little bit. We all know each other through the Papercut and through the magic of the Bookstagram community. Now, before I even begin, I want to be able to describe Bookstagram.
I'm yielding to Mehreen on this one.
So Bookstagram is basically like a sub-community within Instagram. And, we try to influence with books. We try to influence with literature. And it's fascinating because it connects you with people across the world who are probably reading the same book that you are. So, like, really opens up this avenue and geographical perspective. So you just post a book and you probably have like a bunch of people already coming to your profile and initiating a discussion or reading your views, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you meet so many people through that, and you meet so many like-minded individuals who you probably don't see for like years.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that friendship and that support, it becomes so awesome, over the years of bookstagramming. So yeah, this is...
Because it kind of feels somehow when you're a reader and that's your hobby, that it's a lonely sort of thing, that you're just in a room and you're reading this book and it's just you and the book and papers are my friend, and we get all melancholic with it. But the thing I love about like Bookstagram is that it's almost like these smoke signals of readers just going like, please, I want to make friends. And then somebody else is reading the same book and they're sending signals back. And so I think it's like, Bookstagram is a way that readers use to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love the cultural exchanges that happen between that. I've personally been able to read across cultures more widely than I would off Instagram. And everybody's recommendations are so different and so similar at the same time.
Yeah.
So like diversified into 10.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And, the Papercut started off basically as a Bookstagram account. And through that, I was able to open up my own reading interest so much. I actually got challenged by readers and writers. I once got fully called out. Like, this is one of the reasons why I turned the Papercut into a podcast, ultimately, was because I don't know if I ever told you guys the story.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, so basically what happened was I read a book called, I forgot the title, The Monk of Mocha.
All right.
Okay, and it's written by Dave Eggers. He wrote it in collaboration with a Yemeni American author, or Yemeni American person, he wasn't an author, about his experience going back to Yemen and rediscovering the coffee community in Yemen. He learned about the coffee industry and that it originated in Yemen. And so he was very curious about this, and because he's never heard of like of Yemeni coffee, and he's Yemeni. So he actually went to Yemen, tried to like reinvigorate the Yemeni coffee industry. And anyways, it was an amazing adventure. And
So you write this review.
I wrote this review,
Yeah.
and I get called out by this Palestinian American author called Randa Jarrar,
Whoa.
okay, who used to follow me. And she was like, why don't you write reviews about books by actual, like if it's about the Arab world, why aren't you writing about actual Arabs, people from the region? And I was like so offended first. I was like ready to like tell her, well, actually, I read all kinds of books. I'm very diverse. That's the whole point of this account.
I believe in. And then,
Please check my shelves.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait a minute, before I say that, let me see if I can back this up properly. And of all the books that I had read, only one of them was by an Arab author, or like one of them was by like a person of color, or two maybe, or three. And the rest were all not, let's just say.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was really shocked about that because I perceived myself to be someone who's very open-minded and like actively seeking out diverse literature. And yet I was still like putting myself in this box with the type of books that I read.
Yeah, and you ended up like finding out that you very rarely / never read anything by somebody who looks like you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that also happens because we get carried away with titles more than names. I feel like that's also
Absolutely.
something that's, in my reading journey, even as a teenager or younger, we looked at titles. We didn't pay much attention to the author and the author's story itself.
True. I made it a point to never, like the hypocrisy of me as a child going, I will never find out who wrote this book. I
Yes.
only focus
On the
the
content,
name of the
yes.
book and the content and
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And now like I'm begging people to see my name on a book.
Exactly. Like, hear my story. Like, there is a person behind this story, and somewhere my story is in there,
Exactly. So ever since then, that's like, this is what I love about this community, is that it's okay for you to be called out. As long as you keep an open mind, you can learn something new. And actually my reading life has only benefited from that like slightly harsh moment. I don't like being criticized, clearly, because it really offended me, but it worked out for the best because it led to this whole journey. And so for me, my reading resolution ever since then has been to read as diversely and as consciously diversely as possible. And that's basically the only reading resolution I've ever really maintained.
Reading resolution.
Oh my God. Yes. So, Ammar, Mehreen, Rawiya, can you guys tell me what your reading resolutions are for the upcoming year?
I don't want to be the first person to talk about this.
Maybe Rawiya.
Rawiya, you go.
Let's go with read.
Let's hear
Okay,
you.
do you mind explaining first for everyone what is a reading resolution? Because maybe people don't even know what that means.
For me, a reading resolution is more like a challenge. How many books I want to read, what sort of book genre I want to read. Mostly for me personally, I always go for poetry and young adult fantasies. He knows that already.
And do you keep track of them somehow?
Yes, on Goodreads.
Nice.
So what is, for those who maybe don't know, what is Goodreads?
I don't want to say it's a social media platform, but I want to say it's a platform where we can basically curate our own virtual library of all the books that we want to read, we have read, we liked, we did not like, and see everybody else's shelves as well, what they're reading, how they are rating those books. So I want to say, it is an interactive platform, basically an interactive library subscription where you can talk. It's not all silence.
No, exactly. And I think probably the most famous feature, or one of the famous features they have, is creating a challenge for yourself, which I'm guessing is what you're talking about, Awiya, where you can say I want to read 50 books in 2022. Or last year, how many did you read? Or this year, I should say.
This year, 30.
You read 30?
Yeah, I read 30.
Nice.
And last year you read?
80.
That is 80, ladies and gentlemen. Not 18, 80.
I can explain why. I used to live in Khod. And I drive,
that explains it.
Yeah, I drive all the way to here. I listen to it on Audible.
Is this turning into an attack on our book?
Hey, no, exactly. No shade to anyone living in Al Khod. They have all the cool cafes
But
and
yeah,
stuff.
you take time to drive until you reach here, obviously. So I used to listen on Audible most of it.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
All right,
Yeah,
now I
nice.
understand.
So I can finish a book in 3 days or 2 days
No
because I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the traffic most of the time.
Do we want to talk about what Audible is?
Yeah, just for people who don't know, Audible is an audiobook subscription service, I guess. An
Yes.
audiobook library service, kind of. You can
Yeah.
buy and rent books on there, and it's just one of many as well. And actually, this is one of the things that I miss so much about commuting is being able to read lots
Yes.
on the commute.
Oh my God. Yes. So true. Like just
Small-
having a book and like you.
Small pleasure.
Yeah.
Especially
definitely.
when I lived in London, like one of the joys of commuting was like holding my book out on public transportation for everyone to know what I was reading.
So not pretentious. I was a genuine reader when I
I
did
had
that.
like the Iliad, and then inside I had like
Archie's comics. At least it wasn't Proust. Like then I would be judging you hard.
yeah. So okay, what about you, Mehreen? Any targets for next year?
Yes. Well, the past 2 years, I have been reading pretty diversely and very heavily. And I feel like it was almost leaning on academic because I felt like every book that I was picking up had to have some sort of story, some sort of lesson, that I just had to have this takeaway. So for next year, I think I should really scale down and become more of a mood reader. What an average reader is a mood reader, and really read into books that have more feeling. For example, memoirs is something I want to read, and not memoirs of famous people, but memoirs of ordinary people or lesser known memoirs. If they're translated works, then even awesome. Like that's a bonus. And the second reading resolution I have for myself is maybe read romance books from other cultures.
Cool.
Yeah, to just sort of understand what they have. Yeah.
Well, how they view romance.
And it's not, when I say romance, I'm not talking about like a cozy, sweet, a romance, which again, nothing wrong with that. But there are books like Love After Love by Ingrid Persad. I think that comes under Caribbean literature. So it's in the backdrop of, let's say, like revolution or, social torment. So those kind of romance books are basically what I'm looking at. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
So scale down, chill out, actually enjoy the process of reading and feeling with it.
I love the fact that Rawiya, just like while you were talking, she pulled out her phone and she showed us like the proof, the receipts of like 80 books on Goodreads.
I can prove it. See? It's 80.
Here's the thing. It's amazing. It's so impressive. But I also I want to highlight, and I always want to highlight that it's okay to read a book a year.
Yes.
It's all right to read half a book a year.
It also depends on the sometimes you read a book that's like 1,000 pages. It might take a while to get through that book, So I agree. I did. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna let you mention your reading resolutions first. Do you have any?
Yes. And again, the hypocrisy. I said it doesn't matter how many, but I have a number. And that's purely because as a writer, I think reading is the way that I improve.
Yeah.
I read to see what other people are trying, how they structure a sentence, what sort of cool stuff they're doing with their stories. So I just go with the standard 12 books a year. If I do it, okay. If I don't, that's fine. I've gotten into the habit of starting the book and then if I feel I want to try something else, that's okay. Because I feel like people get into this, what if I start reading and it turns out that I don't like the book? Well, that's fine, We start shows and stop them all the time. So yeah.
Speak for yourself.
It's like, no, I will finish this. It's me or the book.
If it literally kills me.
I finish it even if the sun rises on me. Yes. Going back on your point of saying even if you read one book a year, that's fine and that's good enough. I feel like that is the one negative, the downside of being on Bookstagram or BookTube is that everybody...
It's so competitive.
It's very competitive. And often I feel it may intimidate somebody who wants to get into reading. I can't read like these people,
Yeah.
And nobody should be feeling that way. Again, like I said, if you want to read a corny, cozy romance that makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah.
You're doing it for yourself, and you enjoy the process. It's completely up to you. You want to read Harry Potter for the 20th time in your life? Do it.
Yeah,
so many people do
exactly.
it during Christmas time and it's okay.
Yeah, I've noticed a couple of my friends doing a reread now.
Yes,
really.
Winter time.
Yeah, and Goodreads, one of the things it shows is how many times a person has finished that book.
Oh, wow.
And so I can see that the reading the Philosopher's Stone for like the 7th time. Like, whoa.
Wow.
That is dedication. It's like those people who rewatch Friends every year. Right?
Yeah.
It just gives them that feeling. And
It's a feel-good type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so with me, I think, first of all, I kind of gave up a little bit on Goodreads. I realized that it was too many social media platforms and it was getting overwhelming for me. So I had to give some stuff up. And the main reason why I gave up on Goodreads was because the app really,
it's horrible.
it's not great.
It's not.
It's
it feels-
outdated.
yes, very outdated.
It is definitely made, like the app was made by people who read. They're used to pen and paper. Like they're not used to the algorithms. No, they don't know how to do
They
it.
took a paper and they
would-
sketched out how they wanted
write-
the app to look,
Yeah.
and they gave it to somebody, and that was
They wrote
it.
their code on a typewriter, you know?
Yeah, there you go. They were like, must be able to manually search for person A and their
And it's like-
shelves, you know? Like, it's so hard to find anyone.
Like imagine, what is the point of a social media program that doesn't let you search for somebody?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so true.
It's so
I can
hard.
write the name of a book, but I can't find Fatma.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I have to go through my own list, and yes, you're right. That was such a pain in the neck. Honestly,
Anyways, this is not. I'm sorry, Goodreads.
I know.
it's okay. They can handle it.
Just bashed on him.
No, but I feel like you'll get a resounding yes, we agree with you if you ask like readers how they feel about Goodreads. They'll be like, yeah,
A lot of
falling
people-
off that horse.
Yeah, you know, but still, it was still useful to keep track of things and everything.
Yeah.
But also for me, I used to try and maintain a target. However, for someone like me, I get so fixated on targets and figures that I completely lose track of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And the last time I kept that type of resolution, I was stressing myself out. Like I was actually like, oh my God, I need to finish X, Y, and Z before the end of this month so that I can meet my target. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm reading because I enjoy it.
Yeah, do you ever
not
get-
because who is
Yeah.
monitoring this actually?
Do you ever like catch yourself reading faster?
Yeah.
Like you're just skimming at that point. You're
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
it's the first 2 words of the page, last 2 words of the
Yeah.
page. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
so
And-
Jose
and-
went, the city was nice, okay, somebody's dead, all right.
No, and something else I would do is like select books based on their length. 'Cause I was like,
Yes.
no, I can't read this.
So true.
I'm not gonna meet my target.
So
if I read it.
all those chunky books are still sitting on my shelves, and I'm just looking at them, and you're like, someday you will be picked up, my friends. Someday I will love you the
Like,
same way I love every other book.
I never would have read the children's book. If the children's book, the one that you just gave me, by what's her
Your
name?
own
A.S.
book,
Byer?
basically,
Yeah.
that I gave you back.
It's like 600 pages. Oh my God, I have to lend it to you. It's so good. I'm
She's
never
basically shifting the
Wait,
weight,
what?
Ammar. Just caution.
It's a children's book that's
No.
600 pages long.
It's
No, no,
called the children's book.
Okay.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's there's a lot in it. It's great. It's fantastic. You should read it. But she's
Historical
basically
fiction.
shifting the weight. I'm telling you
It's
now.
a very heavy book.
But okay, here's the thing. If there is one genre of books that I have trouble with, it's books that are very useful and very dense because like I'm reading for fun, right? And then there's so much information that I just start going to sleep.
I
It
know.
feels
Sort of.
textbooky.
It's hard.
It's hard.
This one, I don't know. You might enjoy it because it's a book about a writer, and I feel like writers like reading books about writers. I don't know.
I don't like writers.
What a confession.
No.
What
I'm
a-
sorry. I'm sorry to all my writer friends. I'm gonna turn this off. No.
This is therapy now.
No, but I think-
Why don't you like writers?
I love writers. It's a joke.
I'm offended.
I'm sorry. Sarcasm. No, but I think books about writers, maybe like I'll try it. It might be the sort of thing where I'm too close to the shoes. The thing about like reading is that you have a chance to walk in somebody else's shoes. But if it's somebody who's already really close to you,
True.
Then-
It's like I wouldn't want to read a book about lawyers.
true.
Wouldn't
it's
interest
that.
me. Yeah.
I'm just gonna finish The Rule of Wolves, the one by Leigh Bardugo.
Yeah. Oh, I
I'm
She's
about to
so
finish
good.
it.
Oh, she's so good.
yeah, I used to be
I'm so
obsessed
into the
with-
Grisha verse.
Yes.
Was it you who got me into the Grisha verse? Yeah,
of
because
Crows.
I started reading, what was it? The duology. It's
Yeah,
Crooked
Six of
Kingdom.
Crows.
Six of Crows.
Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom.
So
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But then I started following on Bookstagram, like you talked about, mostly about the fan art. You can see the characters in front of you. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I
So-
love that mashup.
So, because Bookstagram is it's Instagram, so it's like visual arts, photos, videos, all of that.
Exactly.
And fan art is like basically the ultimate thing.
Manifestation of like what you've just read. Like
Because most writers can't draw. So like it's their way of expressing themselves. And then somebody comes and makes fan art out of that. And then somebody sees it and makes a video. And then somebody makes a soundtrack to the video.
Oh,
and
you have a movie.
So cool.
That's it. You have an adaptation right there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm. This is like a whole new side of Bookstagram that I wasn't aware of. Actually,
Really?
Oh no, it happens. Because there's Bookstagram, there's Book Talk, there's BookTube.
Yes.
There's book everything.
On that topic, there are so many iterations of different book communities on the internet in general. And one of the things that always bugged me was the fact that the reading community in Oman was very, as you said in the beginning, it was pockets. Everyone was sitting in their own room, surrounded by piles of books, not aware of the existence of everyone else. But now, thanks to social media, everyone is like coming together on these different platforms. And one of the places that people that I came across recently on Facebook was Oman Book Lovers Club. And I started and I started chatting with the lady who founded the Book Lovers Club. They have an Instagram account as well. And they're doing so much cool stuff. All these live events with authors. Ammar, you were one of the live chats.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They also do the book lending. The book lending is the thing I really like.
The book what? Lending. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, just somebody shows. It's mostly a Facebook page, honestly. So they will. Each person will like show a book and go like, I'm lending this. Does anybody want it? And so a book just goes around and around.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to speak to Anisha right now. We're going to have a little talk with her and find out more about Oman Book Lovers Club.
Talking to fans.
No, sorry, not fans. What is it?
Special guest.
Hello.
Hi.
Yay!
Hi, Fatma. I hear you quite faint.
Yay. How are you, Anisha?
I'm very, very good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for letting us give you a call. Sorry we're a bit late.
No, it's fine. You for bringing me on and allowing me an opportunity to talk about the book club.
No worries. I'm really excited to learn more about the book club. So just before we begin, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself? We know all we know right now is you're Anisha from the Oman Book Lovers Club.
So hi, yeah. So first of all, hello to everybody who's listening, and thank you so much for bringing me on. So I moved to Oman just a year back, and in fact, this month I complete 1 year in the Sultanate. And I was someone determined never leaving my home country. But the day I set foot in Oman in 2016, I just wanted to make a life here. Incredibly beautiful, lovely vibe. The country and its people have given me so much that it is home now. Professionally, I've been an executive search professional hiring top management talent for multinationals with over a decade of experience in talent acquisition management profiles.
Wow.
Last, I was working with the oil and gas organization leading their global recruitment team. So since the time I'm here, I'm at home and just busy doing what I'm going to be talking about.
Wow.
Also, love for reading comes naturally to me with an upbringing in a house full of avid readers. My sisters, my parents all have been voracious readers. Nobody would sleep in my family without reading. So thankful to them to instill this habit of reading and love for books, which has given birth to the book club.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, so I can totally relate to needing to channel all of that energy into something. And I can't think of a better way than Oman Book Lovers Club. So can you give us a brief intro to what is the Oman's Book Lovers Club? Sorry if I keep getting tongue-tied.
Right. So Oman Book Lovers Club, or OBLC for short, is basically, in a nutshell, an expression of what books bring to our life, joy. So read, share, stay happy is a tagline that emerged in my head naturally long ago. And basically, it's a platform connecting all book lovers and all things books in Oman. It's simply connecting book lovers of all kinds, diversity and inclusion being my key focus. My intent was to have a platform where all kinds of book lovers, age no bar, gender no bar, where they come from, know bar and the interest, fiction, non-fiction, everything. They just connect. So and create a opportunity to make some bookish friends, make some like-minded friends. So that's basically a Facebook group which gives an opportunity for book lovers to connect with each other, talk to each other.
And not just book lovers as like readers, but writers and other people in the industry as well. Like you had Ammar on, we mentioned.
All things books in Oman. So even create awareness for books less known or authors less known. So that's what I've been trying to do in the live chats. Everything books.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So just some people do get a little bit intimidated about joining book clubs. Like I know that I've had this comment said to me before because they feel like they're going to be joining a group of people who are highly, well-read or read a very specific type of highbrow literature. Like how much participation do you expect from your members, or is it more of a easygoing, free-flowing vibe?
I know where you're coming from. So, yes, I realize book clubs typically mean reading a book together and then discussing it. So, while it's called Oman Book Lovers Club, the intent really is it's a more holistic space with no pressure to participate. As there's a variety of things that we do. People can choose what they enjoy and where they want to participate in and join in, and that's it. So it's completely free-flowing. There's something for everyone.
That's cool.
Yeah, when we talk more, I can talk probably more about there's books borrowing, there's book discussions. We also did, since it's just fairly new, every month we started launching new ideas and started doing new things. We did virtual meetups. We did, then we read a book together. Then we also launched our kids club. The main idea why it was born, what made me really start the club was, actually, when I moved here, I started exploring social media and joined some community platforms, especially Facebook groups, in an endeavor to know what's happening around. And I started coming across several posts about books being offered for selling. And especially for my daughter, I was very greedy for more books because I wanted her to develop the habit of reading. And our huge collection sat back home because I'd just moved. And then this thought came to me, wish I could borrow, read and return than having to buy, as I don't have enough space to keep holding the books the way I love to hold them.
Exactly. And so books are expensive
here. That is what has actually given birth to the idea of the club, that I envisioned really a fortnightly or monthly meetup, a physical meetup of book lovers, where each one would bring a set of books. And in each meet, the books would go around the table so that by the end of the cycle, which means as many number of meets as the members in that round, each one would have read all those books without having to buy them. With this idea in mind, I had started the club. The motivation was books to read, and also I hoped I might make a few like-minded friends this way. But then second wave hit and meetups actually didn't happen. But once this club was formed, it just shaped itself with members joining in, and it just grew into something far bigger than I had ever anticipated.
Wow. Yeah. That's so amazing. Like, it sounds like your plans for the club have sort of expanded a little bit since you started it. So with that in mind, what are your plans for 2022 for the book club? The main focus, if I may say, would be to continue building the community and continue to add value to the members, to continue to create spaces and opportunities for more book lovers to read more and explore more. I like to encourage that, with all these challenges people keep talking about in the Bookstagram community, let's not make it a competition. Just read what makes you happy. And yet, I like to subtly nudge people to say, explore some more genres. If people wanted to get in touch with OBLC or contact you to donate books or borrow books or participate in any of the live chats, where can they find you? So Facebook group remains the main platform. Oman Book Lovers Club, if you search on Facebook, you'll find it. So Facebook group and page, both by the same name. Nice. On Instagram, exactly the same name without any spaces. And the live chats with authors, which we started in November, they are also streamed live on Facebook page and on YouTube. Again, YouTube, the same name. And they're also available on Google Podcasts and Spotify and Anchor. definitely. I mean, I'm personally always on Instagram, so that's where I get most of the updates. Luckily for
That's how
me,
we connected.
yeah, that's how we connected. And I'm so glad that I found you. You just came up randomly one day. I rarely ever go on Facebook, but one day I opened it and obviously it came up as the first suggestion for me. So I'm very happy about that. But thank you so much, Anisha. This was so great. Good luck with the book club. I'm fully supportive of the book borrowing initiative and all of the initiatives that you're running. So I wish you all the best.
And thank you so much, Fatma, for bringing me on. It's really been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the time for us to announce something super cool.
So, I've had challenges, let's just say, getting books into readers' hands before the book club actually begins because of delivery and all of that stuff. Actually, one person tried to, we had Istanbul, we read Istanbul for 1 month by Orhan Pamuk.
Yeah, I remember
and the person one person ordered the book and got it 4 months later. So in order to avoid that ever happening again, and also to keep things fun and let people get books whenever they want and read them at their own pace, I'm publishing the whole reading list in one go on the Papercut.club on Instagram.
So now if I go to the Papercut.club on Instagram, I can find a list where there are 12 books and I can choose any time during the year to read any of them?
Yeah, I mean, you can read them at your own pace, but the book club discussion is going to be each month. So in the order that you see them on the list, that's the order that we're going to be discussing them. So I'm not going to mention all of the books over here because that would just be a very long list. But I also decided to turn it into a reading challenge because the book list is very diverse. We've got novels by Caribbean authors, novels by North African authors, Chinese fantasy novels, all kinds of cool stuff. I also turned it into a reading challenge, the first Papercut reading challenge I've ever done before. And basically it's to encourage people they can use that as their reading resolution, essentially. That if they don't want to read the specific book that I mentioned, they can still diversify their reading through the suggestions I have.
There are all sorts of books that they can read. And I think that's the thing you contacted me for, right?
Right.
Because
me as well, yeah.
So Mehreen and I both provided a suggestion. I want to plug my suggestion to you guys. It was The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. And I know for a fact that nobody listening to this will have read anything like this book.
Wait, hold on. I saw Rawiya nodding. Did you read it?
He annoyed me to read it. I didn't read it yet.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I didn't try it.
Oh.
He was like, add it to your list. You have to read it. You have to. I was like, okay, I will. And then I forgot.
Oh, man. Okay, so now you have another chance.
Okay, I'm going to do it now.
Well, now it's a challenge, so we have to read it.
Challenge.
Yeah.
And Mehreen, what did you suggest?
I chose The Moor's Account by Leila Lalami. This was a Pulitzer Prize finalist for fiction in 2015. So this follows. So the Narvaez expedition happened in real life in 1527.
Yeah.
On that expedition, that doomed expedition, there were a couple of survivors. I think just 3 or 4, out of which one of the survivors was a Moroccan slave named Mustafa ibn Muhammad, also known as Estebanico. And his name comes up in the whole expedition only once. The expedition was reported after, everything that happened. And his name showed up only once. And his name is recorded only once in history. So Leila Lalami wrote this fictionalized memoir for Mustafa ibn Muhammad.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So it's like pretending to be him writing a memoir.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so meta.
It is meta, and I love that it is from the MENA region, and it seems like a piece of history that we have lost. And through her speculation, we try to figure out how much of it is true or not, or basically giving a voice to this person who probably had all the answers to what happened on that expedition itself as a survivor.
That's amazing.
But the name was unfortunately erased in history, or one of those things that makes you wonder, like, how many such accounts do exist that we've lost in time. So,
and actually, I know this is not what I now that you were talking, it just reminded me of another book which is remarkably similar. In the sense that it's an account of someone who would have normally been completely silent in history. And it's like a fictionalized version of who that could have been. And it's actually a friend of mine who wrote the book. And I swear to God, I'm not plugging saying it because I know her.
Even if you did, that would be awesome. I think like
her name is Victoria Prince-Will. She's a Nigerian writer, and she wrote a book called In the Palace of the Flowers, which is basically an account of an Abyssinian slave in the Qajar Empire or the Qajar dynasty in Iran or in Persia or whatever it was called back then. And this is a real person. She actually existed, and the only evidence she had of the existence was Victoria was like looking at some records or archives somewhere and came across this one line somewhere of this. It said something like, "My name is Jamila Al-Habashi. I'm a slave, a slave in the Qajar court," like something like that. Yeah. Like it was just literally that one line, and a couple of more like clues about how she lived, and that's it. Wow. So based on that alone, she created this fictionalized account of what her life must have looked like living in Persia at that time under the rule of a Qajar petty prince. And she pieced together like certain historical events and wrote them into the scene. And anyways, it was just amazing. And this is like remarkably similar.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of books do make good book club discussions because everybody can go like crazy with their imagination and speculate what could have happened, and there's no right or wrong answer to it.
Yeah, I did get some members who are recurring, who show up often, are quite loyal to the club. I asked some members like you guys to pick some books, but I took the liberty to pick a few myself, and one that I'm particularly excited about is Jokh Al-Harthi's re-release of one of her back catalog, which she's translating into English finally, thanks to the success of her first English translation, Celestial Bodies. She's now going to be releasing, inshallah, in May, a book titled The Bitter Orange. And I'm excited about that. So that's not going to be our May book read. It's going to be our July, because I'm just giving a little bit of a window of time because I know how publishing schedules work.
But now we know we can get it
now. We can keep our eye.
We can pre-order it now.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, but it's being published in May, and I'm really excited about that.
Excited.
Yeah, for July is going to be all about Jokh Al-Harthi.
She's awesome. Honestly, like I remember Celestial Bodies, I didn't read in English. I had it in English, but I read it in Arabic. And she is just exceptional. Like, it makes me happy that Armani made that.
I know, and I got to see her in at the Emirates Literature Festival. The room was packed, and it was just it was such a proud moment for me to be able to go and see that, and then to go up to her and talk to her. I had like a stack of her books signed.
Wow.
Amazing.
Because when I did my first episode of my podcast, that was my...
that was your pilot.
That was my pilot episode of my podcast. Yeah, it was. And I did a giveaway of the signed books. I was really excited in English and in Arabic. I was really excited about all that. And I spoke to the editor, but I hope that one day I'll actually be able to interview her directly. So this is me putting it out there into the universe.
Inshallah. Let's just make it happen.
The sooner the better, yeah? Inshallah. Are there any other things that you're giving away?
Oh, yes. Yes, actually, I'm giving away. Speaking of book giveaways by Armani authors.
Yay, it is me time now.
Take the spotlight, Ammar.
That was smooth.
Enough. No, okay, so I'm super happy. I don't know if I mentioned this during like the past hour. I'm a writer. I'm an author. My name is Ammar Al Naimi. I wrote a book called Saram, which is like a fantasy about Omani exorcists living in Muscat 2019. It's like just action and fantasy and about a kid who just really doesn't want to hate himself anymore. So I'm happy to announce that Fatima now officially has 10 of these copies, and she's going to be giving them away via this platform, via this radio show. So I'm wishing you, Fatima, the best of luck with all the shows, and I don't know how you're going to choose to do it, but I hope the people who get the book enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I'm actually so excited about this because also Saram featured actually on my last podcast episode. The last podcast episode that I published was all about Saram. You read one chapter from it.
We announced the book on your show.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm going to be doing this giveaway. I'll be completely frank with you, but I want people to be very interactive with us. Maybe we'll ask them to make fan art. Who knows?
This is
that
where
would
my
be
question
awesome.
is. Like, what do you think is the most important thing in the book community? I will argue, hands down, 100% readers, reviewers. Like, if nobody reads a book, it might as well not exist. And so I think readers just like make this whole thing spin. So, yeah, man, maybe like you can make it a review thing where people tell you their reviews or or whatever, however you choose to do it.
That's a good idea. It's giving me some good ideas, adding it to the list. So Sodom is actually one in a trilogy, isn't it? Or a planned trilogy.
Yes. And now that we're close enough to 2022, I can probably say that the second book, Hazm, will come out towards the end of 2022, inshallah. First draft is written. I'm currently editing it. It's like a long process. But I can tell you that it is more action-packed than Sodom.
Nice.
It's sadder.
No.
How dare
We've
you.
had enough sadness for a while.
You know,
I'm gonna kill you. Don't do it.
and Ray will probably message me after reading
Oh,
that book,
God.
inshallah.
You're waiting
Why
for it.
did you do this to me?
Why?
Like, I want to
don't
kill
know,
him
man.
last time.
It just happens. Like, I'm just holding the pen, man. It's not me doing it.
Oh,
I
pen
edit
mightier
the
than the
draft?
sword.
Can I edit the draft? I'm gonna stop you from doing that.
She's gonna sabotage your plot twist.
So that is my main thing for 2022. I'm also probably gonna put out a book of short stories towards maybe the middle of the year. I can't say too much about it, but I'm halfway done with it.
Wow.
So yeah, a bunch of cool stuff is happening, and I just hope to keep writing and keep making cool things for readers.
How nervous, excited are you for the next year? I feel like you are the person we should be asking this question.
Oh, next year is gonna be awesome, man.
Yes.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
fine. It's gonna be fine. Just baseless confidence all the way.
That's the way to roll now.
Yeah.
That's how to go.
Reading and writing resolutions for Ammar for 2022 is pretty much all your resolutions for the next year, I guess.
Yeah, I have nothing else going on.
Okay, cool. Well, Mehreen,
Yes.
tell us some stuff about what you're getting up to.
So I have this year I actually launched my BookTube channel. Just like Bookstagram, YouTube also has a sub community called BookTube, and we talk about books, just like we're talking about books right now. It all started when last year I was uploading IGTV book reviews, and they were pretty lengthy, and nobody wants to sit and watch like 15 minutes of IGTV Instagram videos,
But
right?
then on YouTube, it's fine. Yeah.
It's exactly, that's what everybody said. Okay, so when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I very nervously uploaded a bunch of book reviews. And honestly speaking, like, BookTube is not as simple as people think it is. Like, it's not just recording, editing, and you upload a video and then you just, like, fold your hands and wait for somebody to watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a learning curve because just recently in my past 2 videos, I've learned to, have my thoughts compiled well enough and have them concise and, record and edit a video under 10 minutes, so around a 7-8 minute mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm only able to do that now. That's like almost a whole year. And then like finding soundtrack and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's going to go up from there, inshallah. But still, like, I'm not going to ignore my Bookstagram because I feel like both are quite supplementary to each other. And, one thing leads to another.
So what's your Bookstagram?
Exactly.
My Bookstagram is the Literature Snob 2.0. And my BookTube is the Literature Snob. It all started with a funny story at home. Would you guys want to listen to it?
Yes.
So I was complaining about some classical literature book to my dad, and he was like, stop being such a snob about it. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's what I am. A literature snob.
And so a legend was born. Yeah.
Yes.
And then like I cut my hair into a bob, and then some of my friends started calling me the literature bob, like all year round.
Bob the Snob.
Bob the Snob. The literature bar.
I like that. It's ironic though, because like you're probably the least snobby when it comes to literature, the like person that I know of. Honestly, yeah.
But I also feel like, again, one of the reasons why my reading resolution was to scale back is because I feel I was getting far too critical. You read so much and then you start becoming so picky and nitpicky that come on, you just have to read, like you said, Ammar. Like you just read and you enjoy, and that's what life is about.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
just having fun with it is so important.
So important. You don't have to always be like almost academic with it. So, yeah, hopefully next year will be awesome for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically my main resolution for next year, is just to have as much fun with reading as possible. And that's basically the aim of this show as well, is to let people know how much fun they can have reading books and exploring different viewpoints, I guess. Rawiya, any reading resolutions or any plans for you for next year?
Give us a number. That's all we want to know.
Yeah,
100.
Do you want a dice? Like, do you want a bunch of dice?
I can do 100. Don't worry. I can do it. At least I can prove it now.
You need to move like further from al-khol than al-khol.
Yeah.
Do you
Is
want to go
Ma'bela
Ma'bela? We all went Ma'bela. We all said Ma'bela. It's like
I wonder why.
No shade to people living in Al-Khod and Ma'bela. You guys have all the happening stuff now. The city is moving that side. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys all for being here. This was exactly what I hoped it was going to be. So if we can just plug you guys one last time, everyone go around and plug away.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody for listening. This was Ammar Al Naimi, and you can find me on @NaimiHero on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok as well. I write tiny stories there for everybody to read.
Thank you, everybody. This is Mehreen Shaikh. You can follow me on the Literature Snob 2.0 on Instagram and on BookTube or YouTube. I am the Literature Snob. Thank you, everybody.
I'm the clueless one. I'm just stuck here right now. I'm Rawiya Al-Amri. You can find me on Instagram as rawiya.al-amri.
Yeah, and they can find you on the Nation Station.
Yep.
Oman FM.
Yay! Thank you, guys.
The Papercut Club is a member of the Oman FM podcast collective. You can find all of Oman FM's latest shows and updates on Instagram at omanfm.om. This episode was hosted by me, Fatma Makki, edited and mixed by Abdullah Al-Marwali, and special effects by Azam Al-Raisi. Follow the Papercut Club on Instagram and TikTok at thepapercut.club, and you can find us on our website at www.thepapercut.club. Thank you for listening and happy reading.